Hey guys, how's it going? This is Sam with the RG Reviews again, trying to get some more rifles up on the page. Most of what we got is pistols, so I thought of a good idea to check out the Galil Sporter. It's chambered in the 223, but it also takes 5.56 military rounds. What's cool about this firearm is that it's put out by Century Arms, and basically, if you know anything about Century Arms, they're like refurbished and basically put back together and using American parts to be sold in America. And basically, they started putting out these Galil Sporters, and Century Arms got sued by IMI for using the name Galil, and now they changed into Golani. So this makes this rifle actually kind of rare because they recalled a lot of those and restamped it Golani instead of Galil. This is actually model number 97 off the assembly line, which is also a really low number. So if you can find one of these Golani still stamped Galil, and you want to keep it just like that, if you try and send it in for any maintenance, make sure they know not to change the receiver or the stamp on it. Just keep that little thing about it, make it special. But let's get down talking about the specifications of this weapon. Like I said, it's chambered in 223, comes stock. Ours came with a Orlite magazine, 35 round, and a IMI used magazine, 35 round as well. It's a metal magazine. Here that is. You can see, you know, it's a little beat up and rugged, but it still works just fine. If it was good enough for an Israeli dude, it's definitely good enough for me. This is a Polymer magazine though, as opposed to this one being steel, depending on whatever you guys like. You know, I don't have a problem using either one. It's got your standard Galil hand grips, you know, the folding Galil stock, which is a really solid stock for it being a folding stock. This is probably one of the most solid stocks I've seen. You feel as if you could still bash someone with it if you had to, and it would hold up just fine with no questions, no worries. This model actually comes fitted with a Bayonet Lug and a bipod mount, which a lot of the Golanis do not. So if you have that on there, you also have another rare little part about your gun. This one did not come with a carrying handle like you see in most Galils, and I do call this a Galil because that's what it is. It's marked as a Galil and it's not a Golani. As long as it functions as a Galil and I don't have any serious malfunctions with it, that's what I'm going to keep calling it. I don't care what you guys think. So let's get this broken down. It basically works the same way as an AK does. It uses the gas piston instead of like direct impingement as you see in your ARs. There goes the top cover. What's cool about this rifle is that the sights on it, it's probably some of the best sights I've ever seen on a rifle. Assault rifle. You have a flip-up sight basically in the back, which is sighted in for 300 meters and 500 meters. There's a 3 and 5 marking on each one of these. You can flip it up for close quarters, and it also has another flip-up post at the front for close quarters as well. Which I don't know how useful that actually is because I've never had to use it. But pull this out right here. These break down very easy, just like the AKs. And this was safety checked before, just in case you guys want to give me some stuff about it. Obviously, there's no magazine in it or ammo, so you know, you look inside, looks just like an AK, little smaller parts and whatnot. And that's why this rifle functions so well, just because it's built on the AK platform. The Israelis needed something to replace the FAL. You know, it was a big rifle. And it just wasn't, the FAL was just not what it was supposed to be cracked up to be as an assault rifle being full auto. You just couldn't control it. And it was pretty much useless in a full auto situation. You'd have to set it up on some sandbags or a barrier or something like that. Kind of like the G3 or this Century Arms set may. But get this back together, it's pretty easy. The one thing that's pretty different that I like this above an AK is that the gas tube comes all the way out instead of you having to actually flip up that little lever and then, you know, work it out, and then it's kind of a pain in the butt to get back in on the AK, whereas this, it's really simple. There's a smooth, there's ridges where pretty much everything fits. You know, if you slide this right down through here, it needs to go and slide right into these ridges while connecting into this tube up by the front sight, or else it won't sit correctly on there, and nothing will work pretty much. Which, you know, is a downside and it has an upside and a downside. You know, you get tight clearances and whatnot, but with tight clearances comes jams. But I haven't had really any problems with this other than faulty firing pin the first time we got it. But we sent it into Century Arms. They took care of it for us in like a week. We didn't even have to pay shipping. It was pretty sweet. Another really big upside to this above an AK platform is that you have an L style charging handle, which makes it a lot easier to grab, and it has this nice little textured knob up there so you don't have to worry about your finger slipping off or anything. Get this top cover back on. You might have troubles. If any of y'all have this, you can know that the top cover is kind of a pain in the butt to get on sometimes. The AK is easier, but what I found to do, I get it in the whatever little groove it needs to be in, put it down, slap it down, and it's right on. No problems. What's cool about this is it also has a safety switch instead of just using this lever. There's an actual switch. It operates both. As you can see, I can flip it from right here, which makes it sort of ambidextrous in my mind. As far as you don't mind, you know, the ejection of the cartridges if you're left-handed. It weighs about 8 pounds, a little more, a little less, depending on the model you get, especially if you get a Galil. But it is a little heavier of a rifle, but you can't beat it as far as accuracy goes and capacity and reliability. I'll sacrifice some weight. And as you can see, there are options for setting up optics on this. You could mount something on the side here, I believe. They do make quad rails for them. I haven't seen any bayonets running around for these, but I looked it up online. It said it'll accept the M7 bayonet if it's lugged for it. I know you can get 40 round mags for these as well. Israel has so many different varieties of Galil. They have the micro, they have like a heavy machine gun version with a big high capacity mag and a carrying handle and a bipod that's all set up on one. I've also seen every once in a while I come across a wood stock for these too, so if you can find that and you just don't want to mess with the folding stock, it's also a good alternative. It comes with a chrome lined barrel. You know, that's pretty good for keeping maintenance down, making it easy to clean and whatnot. These actually began development in 1967 though, so there should be plenty of these running around. I believe we overpaid for ours, but we also took an account for it was still marked Galil and not Golani. We paid $850 for ours, and I've seen in local gun stores them going for about $650, $700. But this was also a couple of years ago when assault rifles were expensive. Like for any AR you're looking at $1,000. So I looked at this as a very good bargain. To me, these are cheaper and more reliable than ARs, but they just don't have the options you can do with an AR. So, you know, if you're looking for a nice economy, durable, reliable assault rifle that's not going to break the bank for 650 bones, I think that's a pretty great deal. And it is definitely a step above Wasser 10s and whatnot. This is a full milled receiver, and I believe all Century Arms Golanis are milled receivers. This I looked it up, and they said most commonly when they Americanize these and make them legal for import to America, they change the trigger group. They usually the bolt, the firing pin, the top cover, and the barrel, I believe, is still all military, Israeli military. So that's a plus side. From what I understand, most gun manufacturers, when they try and import stuff, they try and change not so much the mechanics of it, but the aesthetics. Like they'll switch out the stock and the fore end and the flash suppressor to American stuff to make it work. But I think that's about all I have to say on this. If you can find an actual IMI stamped Galil for a decent price, I would hold on to that, you know, for Judgment Day, or for anybody that wants to spend that kind of money on a real Galil. You know, that's their journey. Let's see, breaking this stock down is not really that hard either. Oh, whoops, going at it about the wrong way. I just slap it down like that and flip it to the side. There you go. It was also adopted by the Israeli military and designed basically for close quarter combats. You know, running around a building with an FAL is not going to be close quarter friendly. And that's also why they went to the bullpup Tavor, and that's why they kind of retired this. These are still in use in South Africa. I know Israel sold a lot of these to South Africa and a few neighboring countries, just because they work so well and they got popular. But if you guys have any questions or comments on this, I'd like to hear it. You know, especially if you guys have one, have had any problems with it, I'd like to know what's up with that, just in case I have those problems. But let's keep all comments friendly and nice and constructive. No haters on my page, please. But you guys have a great evening, and take care of yourselves and have some safe shooting.